Hi, it's Cory, and today you're gonna learn what a capo is. A capo is a ukulele accessory that is like a little clamp that you put down on the fretboard of your ukulele, and it actually raises the pitches of the chords that you're playing by a half step. So it makes it so you can make the pitches a little bit higher for you without having to actually change the chords that you're playing. Let me demonstrate. So today I'm gonna actually be using this Enya circle ukulele. It's very, very cute, and I'll have it linked down below. But what's really great is this is actually one of Enya's starter set ukuleles, or what they consider like the beginner line. And it just happens to be the circle version of it. And in all of their beginner ukulele kits, it comes with a capo, which is really, really nice. So you have all the accessories that you need. The way that you're going to play on this ukulele is normally, we have a C, you put your third finger on the first string, third fret. But say you're playing your song and it's a little bit too low for you, but you like the overall chords, but it's just not in a good key for you, and you want it to be a little bit higher. So if you wanted to raise it up a half step, you'd be going from your C major to a C sharp major. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, I don't know what a C sharp major is. And don't worry, most people don't on the ukulele. But rather than having to learn an entire new chord, what you can do in order to raise the pitch of that chord is just use a capo instead. So you take the capo and you clamp it down on the first fret, making sure it's really, really snug all along the first fret of the ukulele. You're going to still play a C major chord, but rather than it being a C major, it is not going to sound like a C major anymore. It is now going to be a C sharp because it's raising it by a half step, because you're making these strings shorter. So the shorter the string, the higher the pitches, the longer the string, the lower the pitches. Now, what I'm going to do in order to make my C major, because you're thinking, oh wow, this fret's all used up, am I still placing my third finger on the third fret? No. Instead, you're going to pretend like that fret doesn't exist. It's gone. You don't need it anymore. This open fret here is where your new first fret begins. So your new C major chord is going to be what used to be the fourth fret, but now it's the third fret. So you can hear it's a half step higher than what it was. Here's the C. Here's C sharp. It works more than just on the first fret. If you wanted it to go on the third fret, it's going to raise whatever chord you were playing by 3 half steps. Each different fret raises it by a half step. One thing you have to be a little bit careful is if you're using a soprano size ukulele, the farther you go up on the fretboard using a capo, it's going to eventually get a little bit out of tune, and that's just because as you get closer up here on the fret, it naturally doesn't keep as close of a tuning as you might like. However, when I move to something like a concert size ukulele, I'm on the same fret that I was before, but it sounds a little bit more in tune. I typically recommend using a capo on something that's like a concert or a tenor size. The tenor is getting quite a bit bigger. The larger it gets and the longer your neck is and with your fretboard, the better it stays in tune. But overall, using a capo is a really nice way that you can have a lot more access to different songs. As a reminder, when I say higher, I'm just saying you're making the actual pitches themselves higher on the ukulele. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to sing higher all the time. Sometimes when you change chords, even though it's moving like up the fretboard, it ends up being that the pitches you're going to sing will be lower. So just keep that in mind too. You're just changing the key. It doesn't always mean that you're getting into a higher key necessarily. There are also a lot of different types of capos out there. So this is one specifically for ukulele, whereas this is one that is made out of metal that's meant for ukulele or guitar as well. When you're buying a capo, make sure, while it doesn't hugely matter if you got one for a guitar because it's not going to damage the instrument, I always recommend to make sure it says that you can use it for ukulele, especially the ones made out of metal. They are a little bit more heavy duty, and while again, they're not going to damage your instrument per se, it's always best to go with a tool that's specific for the instrument, but you can find them made out of plastic or made out of metal. I find that the ones that are made out of metal last a little longer because I've definitely had little plastic ones before. I've like opened them and they've just snapped. So make sure that whatever you're getting is investing in really good quality. If you're interested in getting a capo for yourself, I'll have a couple options linked down below in the description box. What you should not do though, and I've seen and I've had students that do this before, they've kind of made like makeshift capos at home. Those don't really work and they can damage your instrument. Capos aren't that much money. You can definitely get them for under $10. And it's not something necessarily that you need to have in your ukulele collection, but it's nice to have. Let me know if you've ever used a capo and whether you liked it or didn't like it down in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, make sure to give it a like. It helps a lot with how the video does. And when you're commenting and liking, it tells more people that this is a valuable video for them too. So all of that engagement really helps with how the videos perform. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!